A fierce struggle for ideological dominance is fracturing the upper echelons of Reform UK, as the party attempts to transition from an insurgent movement into a disciplined government in waiting.
So I'll ask you the same question again. What was more important to you, respecting the family's wishes or making a political argument?
Respecting the family's wishes, which is what we've done, because there's nothing more divisive, Laura, than two-tier policing.
At the very centre of the storm is Zia Yusuf, the party's newly appointed Shadow Home Secretary, and the leading contender to eventually succeed Nigel Farage. A multi-millionaire tech entrepreneur and former Conservative donor, Yusuf is widely praised by the populist base as a sophisticated, modern communicator. But behind the smooth corporate presentation lies a highly combustible political strategy that is triggering intense civil war within his own ranks and alienating vast blocks of mainstream voters. Yusuf's rapid political transformation is a masterclass in calculated opportunism. A graduate of the London School of Economics, he spent his youth firmly on the political left, openly protesting the Iraq War and campaigning for Barack Obama, before shifting to the right as a Tory party member. He eventually defected to Reform, instantly cementing his influence by handing the party its largest ever personal financial donation. While his wealthy British Muslim background is routinely weaponized by Nigel Farage to shield Reform from persistent accusations of institutional racism, critics argue Yusuf has chosen to advance his personal career by aggressively validating the party's most extreme anti-immigration rhetoric. Nowhere is Yusuf's hard-line authoritarian shift more evident than in his hyper-aggressive performance as Home Affairs spokesperson. In a stunning display of executive overreach that shocked corporate Britain, Yusuf issued a public ultimatum to outsourcing giant Serco, threatening to classify the private company as a national security threat and strip them of all government contracts if they failed to strictly enforce Reform's radical mass deportation quotas. Observers note that while this ruthless style delights the party's most radical factions, it has triggered deep anxiety among moderate voters who view Yusuf's authoritarian threats as an existential danger to the rule of law and free enterprise. But it is Yusuf's clumsy handling of highly sensitive cultural and religious issues that has plunged his frontbench into outright chaos. In the wake of recent societal unrest, Yusuf unilaterally announced on social media that a Reform government would repeal historic exemptions allowing British Sikhs to carry the ceremonial kirpan blade in public, a reckless declaration that instantly alienated over 500,000 law-abiding British Sikhs who had previously been drifting toward the party. The severe backlash has left Reform's ethnic minority activists feeling deeply blindsided, exposing a profound lack of baseline political judgment within Yusuf's policy shop. Simultaneously, Yusuf is facing a humiliating public challenge to his own internal authority. In a highly public embarrassment for the leadership, Yusuf was forced to openly slap down his own shadow chancellor, high-profile Tory defector Robert Jenrick, publicly declaring to journalists that Jenrick's statements on immigration did not represent actual Reform policy. This public infighting has allowed the Labour government to gleefully brand Reform as a chaotic, unguided protest. As Zia Yusuf flies to Washington this week to build alliances with the Trump administration and neutralize the rising threat of the rival far-right Restore Britain party, his strategic vulnerabilities are being laid bare. By swapping his corporate polish for extreme, unyielding populism, Yusuf has successfully positioned himself as the darling of Reform's radical base. But as he alienates crucial domestic minorities and triggers a vicious internal civil war with senior colleagues, the Shadow Home Secretary is proving that his rapid ascent may ultimately come at a devastating cost to his party's dreams of national governance.